Hello and welcome to this Future Music Explainer video on stem mastering. Traditionally, the two stages of mixing and mastering are pretty well defined. Producers render out all tracks in a project down to uniform audio files, known as stems, ready for the mix stage. Once the mix stage is complete, it's bounced down to a pre-master stereo file and sent to a mastering engineer, who takes the file and applies a final stage of processing to optimize the song for commercial release. Stem mastering is a bit different. The final mix session will be exported to a collection of 5 or 6 stems. For example, kick, bass, drums, vocal, effects, and synths. And the mastering engineer will take those stems and then use them to master the song with an extra stage of control and detail. So let's take a look at how to prepare your mix for stem mastering to make sure your stems are delivered to the engineer correctly. In your mix session, create 5 or 6 group channels or buses and route the appropriate signals into them, and name and colour them. These groups are going to become your stems. How to categorise your stems really depends on the track in question, and frequency balance must always be taken into consideration when grouping track elements. So if you bundle, say, bright fizzy synths together with darker parts, it will then be harder to brighten the latter sounds without exacerbating harshness in the former. So instead, group and export sounds that all sit in sort of similar tonal regions. If your mix contains aux, FX channels such as reverbs and delays, it's a good idea to include these signals in with the original source sounds. To export these properly, solo your groups and render them out. And this will ensure those effects are baked in with the source stems. To maintain maximum resolution and headroom, export your stems out in 24 or 32-bit at the same sample rate as your mix project. For reference, also bounce out the master channel, the stereo mix, along with the individual stems. So before you send these stems off to the mastering engineer, you should open a fresh session in your DAW and import the stems yourself. And have a careful listen through and compare the stem mix, that's the collection of stems all summed together, to that master export. That will ensure that everything sounds identical and there's no clipping anywhere. And the final check will also allow you to spot any weird exporting errors or glitches that can sometimes creep in. You'll want to make sure that all of your stems are of identical length and that they all line up perfectly when the stem mastering engineer will drop your audio files into the project. And you also want to make sure that all lead-in elements and reverb tails aren't locked off at the start or the end of the files. From here, you can send your stems to the mastering engineer, who can go to work with master bus processing, but can then also head into the individual stems and make fine adjustments if needed. Anyway, that's all for this quick video. Thanks for watching.